Hello everybody and welcome to the Siege rework for Total War Warhammer 3. If you're wondering why this video didn't come out when the Total War video did, that's because it may have been slightly leaked today and definitely not meant to come out today, and so I didn't have any chance. So that's kind of cringe, but nevertheless there's still all sorts of interesting things about the Siege rework that I'd like to break down for you. So first things first, maps are looking a lot bigger both inside and outside of the gates, but we are still seeing a settlement with its back to the wall. Why, CA, why are you doing this? You know that the one thing that we all want to see is 360-degree settlements. Yes, I know the Great Bastion is a wall and you're showing off Cathay right now. Come on, guys. One of the biggest complaints from Warhammer 2 was that sieges only had one direction. They had their backs to the wall, they were defending from that direction. If you were lucky, you were defending from that direction. And this is what it shows for the first siege. Possibly not the best decision there. I am hoping and praying that this is just an anomaly and this is just the Great Bastion and the other settlements have 360 degrees. But not off to the best start. Maybe they're saving 360 degree for later to try and milk out all of the news that they can in the build up to Warhammer 3 because of the delay, but it's not the best move if you ask me. Now the first thing we see inside these battles are the barricades and traps that we saw previously in the survival battles. These are the walls, firing platforms, traps and buffing tomes that we saw before. You can build these at specific choke points within the city to funnel attackers through specific routes or make it easier for your troops to fight there. And we'll come back to all these buildables later. We also see towers on the outer walls and they can be captured from further away. Hopefully this means that we can capture towers without being on the walls, because units still have ladders up their ass and can get on the walls immediately, which means they are just as unsafe as they've always been. But judging by him saying docked units, this isn't the case. You are going to need to be on those walls, which is just everlasting pain. On the bright side though, it looks like we can get those crane gunners onto the wall, so weapons teams may be finally making their appearance on the walls, which is going to mean that sieging against the Skaven is going to be seriously painful. As you can see, we're also keeping the teleportation from wall to internal floor, so that's another L. And as we speculated when we first got survival gameplay, all the buildables there look to function mostly the same within these siege battles. You have the same supplies, which are earned by holding strategic positions, meaning it's no longer a rush to the capture point in siege battles, which is a good thing. These locations also offer buffs to defenders inside the settlements, similar to the debuffs that you got in the demonic realms. So far, it still looks like you've got the same choice of 4 barricades or 4 towers that we got in the Chaos Realms, but they do look to make it more engaging and easier to defend, which is exactly what you want versus overwhelming odds in a siege battle. Sieges should be hard. They shouldn't be the easier battles. However, if the enemy captures a point connected to your buildable, you will lose everything built in that area and it cannot be refunded. So if you see it start to turn, deconstruct everything while you can. Also, the enemy can't build once captured like in survival, so this is a purely defensive mechanic. And possibly the biggest change is to the maps themselves. There are now many levels to allow you to fire above the battle rather than having to find angles inside your own settlements. You can dock ranged units in this area to give them the best view on the enemy, but there wasn't any mention of docking artillery, which would have been nice. They also look much wider in the streets to allow easier movement through them rather than the awful bunching up that we're used to in Warhammer 2. And finally we get a brief look at another siege map, and in the accompanying blog we get what I believe is another look at this from above, and this one looks much more promising. Let's just pray that if we move up in this image, we don't immediately encounter a wall and that this is in fact a 360-degree settlement. Please, CA, just do this. Otherwise, I'm going to struggle to defend you on this one. Speaking of the blog post, there's a couple of other things inside there that are worth mentioning. First thing we learn is that each faction has unique settlement styles. Cathay and the Dwarves like to stick to the walls to make it easier to defend, which makes sense. Kislev has tighter streets, but no mention of anything else like 360 degrees. The Skaven and the Greenskins have, quote, ramshackle settlements, but no mention of what this actually means, how they work, what they're going to look like. I imagine they're saving this for a bunch of blog posts where this is the Skaven settlement and this is the Greenskin settlement. I just don't know what to say, to be honest. And finally, the only mention of chaos is that they are, quote, weird. Okay? What this boils down to is that hopefully in game, no 2 sieges will feel the same. So if you're playing as Cathay and you're attacking Chaos, it's going to be a weird siege, and if you go against Khorne and then you go against Tzeentch, it's going to be different, and then if you go against the Greenskins, it's going to be different. If you're playing the Greenskins going against any of these other people, it's just going to be this big old combination. So no 2 sieges end up feeling the same, which I like. We get more mention of the multi-tiers vertically, but we also hear a little bit of multiple walls within settlements to allow it to fall back to a more secure keep later in the battle, which should hopefully mean that battles are going to last over 10 minutes, because that'd be pretty cool. And finally, we also learned some new bits about minor settlements here. Many of the siege changes are going to be applied both to minor and major, including the unique maps for each minor settlement, no walls for minors, but they utilize the same systems of building towers, barricades, and different capture points. And that's pretty much it. That is everything new coming in sieges that we know so far in Total War Warhammer 3. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you ask me, from what we've seen just now, I'd probably be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit disappointed, but I'm going to try and hold off judgment for now until I've played the game myself, whenever that may be. If you enjoyed this video at any point, be sure to leave it a like. If you want to see more videos like this breaking down all the news, hopefully on time if it doesn't get leaked. Then be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to check out the merch store, head over to COLONELDAMNEDERS.store. We've got all sorts of cool, funky, fresh designs I'm sure you're going to love, so be sure to click the link in the description and take a look. I'd like to take this time to thank all supporters of the channel at every single tier. I really do appreciate all of you people on the YouTube memberships, over on Twitch, and of course on Patreon. That's all from me. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and for now, I've been COLONELDAMNEDERS, and I will see you next turn.